My name's Lou Sposito. I'm with A.G. Miller Company in Springfield, Massachusetts. Today, we will be taking a quick tour of Paperless Parts and the rate at which it integrates with MIE Trak Pro. You'll see that during a typical business day, your integration is almost seamless, and that way you get the best from both platforms. We'll create a new quote, and this RFQ number is just going to be Jessica. It's going to come from today's date, and we just got it. So we'll just select today, due by noon, even though we'll do it right now. Priority is going to be priority level 1. We received the quote the 8th, check it at 8:28, okay. And then we'll start adding, well, who is this quote going to be for? So I'm going to say it's for Emma at Paperless Parts, even though it's just a test. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take those two parts and I'm going to drag them into Paperless so that the interrogation can start. So my first part is being dropped in now, and it's the step file. I'm going to select the process that I'm going to use, which is going to be, cut on the fiber laser. It's going to be metal, carbon steel, 836. We're going to powder coat this part. And Emma only needs 10 of these. It is not ITAR controlled. So now Paperless is starting the interrogation. At the same time, I'm going to take the PDF file that was attached in the email. I'm going to bring it in as a supporting document. So I'm just going to drop it. Continue, because it's not an ITAR part. Okay, so now we have the PDF file along with the step file. And now we can actually start the process of the quotation. So if we go down below in the main body of the quote, so one of the things that you can do is either manually type it in, or you can pick it from here when we start the part. You don't have to manually type it in. It's actually down below here. I like to just copy it and paste it in. That way I don't make a typing error. And the revision number is 0. There is no revision on this part. So automatically you'll see that the interrogation has begun. We have quantity of 10 that I requested, and it's already started to price it out. So let's just go down and make sure that we note that this part has been started in the queue. Now let's look at the actual interrogation and how it's been blown out. So we see that we do have a per pound price of the material. It's 836 steel, 24 cents for this particular part. When we look at the routing steps, we just want to make sure that we've got everything in the correct sequence. And this is specific to my company. So your company might have a different routing process, and the part may require a different routing process. So we have to program this part. We're going to laser cut it. We can see the interrogated times here. We have to deburr it. We have to then bend it. We're going to do an in-process inspection. We don't need to inspect it and pack it at the same time, so we're going to remove that. We're going to paint and powder coat it. So what we'll end up doing is moving that step up, because obviously we want to paint it before we deliver it. And then we'll see if there's any inconsistencies in the run times. And if not, we'll go back down through and make sure that the margins are what we'd like for this particular part. And I'm just looking at some of the basic margins that we want to have on the part. Make sure that we're good. Do a sanity check. Total price with add-ons would be $438 with no particular lead time selected at this point in time. We'll go back up now that we feel that we've got the part properly quoted. If we needed to edit the quantities, we would do it at this part in time. Since it's really done at this point, we would select completed. I always like to see the expedite options. We have none selected because they don't really care when we deliver this part. We can always select the expedite options. So if we feel that it's properly set up for us, we're going to go back to return to quote. We're going to either review it or add any other documentation that's required. I always like to preview it to see what it's going to look like. And here we have a really nice depiction of what the customer is going to see. Here's a 3D capable drawing of this particular part. We're going to make a selection to start building an order. If the customer wants to, they can just pick 10, and which is what they had requested. And then we'll go through, make sure there's nothing else in here that looks interesting. And we'll close out. Okay, so now we're ready to finalize the quote. We make sure that it's going to the correct users. We've got everyone copied on here that we'd like. We've got our boilerplate information here, and we're going to send the quote. Okay, so now the quote's been sent. So we would see that quote in our outstanding. And you can see that it was sent this morning at 8:27 a.m. Quote's good for about 30 days. So we can now create another quote, or we can open this quote and we can facilitate the order. So there are 10 that are selected. We're going to create the order. Because this is just a test, there's not a lot of data behind it, but we're going to go ahead and run through the steps, ensure we've got the right ship to location. We know how to bill them. We've got the right part information. There's no tax due. We're going to save it again, and we're going to complete the order. Okay, so that quote is now facilitated. So now I'm going to open up my MIE Trak and go to my sales orders tab, and I'm going to do a new search by part number. And this is again called sheet metal _3. And I'm going to do a search. And as you can see, it's already migrated over. So there it is. Came in today, and that migrated over in under a minute. Here's the information specific to that part number. Again, we're going to repeat all the data that was created in the interrogation of the part in Paperless and see how it migrated over to MIE Trak. So we have programming, deburring, bending, inspection, paint, powder coat, and delivery. If we look at the material, cold roll steel, 22 gauge, it's already there. So that whole process took from the creation of the quote to the acceptance of the quote, the creation of the sales order, and the synchronization into MIE Trak. Probably the whole cycle took 3 minutes, maybe less, 4 minutes. So you can see it's really pretty efficient in how it moves over. The work centers are populated. There's no history on this part. And that's really pretty much all we need to be able to create our router, print it out, get it out to the shop floor, possibly even produce the parts same day. As you can see, the integration between Paperless Parts and MIE Trak Pro is quite seamless. It's helped our business tremendously, and we think you'll find great value at the rate at which these two will work together during your typical business day.